Welcome back. This video is going to cover the network settings of the parameters menu. We'll get into event settings in a future video. Once we click on parameters, the first screen that comes up is the IP settings. Most of the time, dynamic IP is where you want to leave this. And we want to get it from your router, so we'll leave that alone. If you don't understand IP networking and how to configure a fixed IP, it's best to go ahead and leave this alone. If you want to test to see if your camera is getting out to the network, you can go in and just type in google.com and hit test, and it will come back and tell you if your camera can get to the internet. That's one way of testing your camera. The dynamic DNS is a service. If you're not familiar with DNS and how you can have your own domain name so that you can access your camera from anywhere just by typing in a domain name into any browser, probably a little bit more advanced than what you'll need. On the email settings, when you go into your email, make sure that you put in you might have to go to Google or Bing or someplace like that and search for the SMTP settings for your mail service. For example, I've got the Yahoo mail service up here. Now, put in the port 465, click on the SSL, turn on authentication, type in your whole Yahoo email address, put in your Yahoo password, and then you can put in who you want to send it to, up to 3 different people in here. And that's pictures and alerts and things like that you want to send. From as will be the same as the username up here. And then when you're done, hit test, and it'll come back and tell you if you've had a successful test. So the email is configured correctly. Moving on to the Wi-Fi section. You should already be connected to Wi-Fi, but if you wanted to change networks, you could come in here and change the network by clicking on another network and then typing in the password. Now, just to go through the menu of the screen of the networks that are within reach of the camera, this is the network's name. You don't want to have any special characters like ampersands or @ signs or anything like that. Hyphens, underscores, things like that are fine. The signal strength, you want this to be above 65%. And then the authentication code, if it says WPA2 or WPA up here, then you want to make sure that the authentication code down here matches. So the options that you're looking for is the WEP, no authentication, or WPA, WPA2. Type in your password for joining your network. Make sure that the SSID here is exactly the same as it is up here. And when you're done, go ahead and hit apply. If you want to verify your password, you can click this little checkbox here, and it will show the password here. I'm not going to do that for my network for security reasons. And when you're done, go ahead and hit apply at the bottom. The P2P submenu is about how your mobile devices connect to your camera. This should be the camera ID that you've typed into the app on your mobile device, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, iPad. It always needs to be enabled if you want to be able to see the camera on those. And then the password will be the admin password here. And you can change it here. Make sure that you don't put more than 8 characters in there. Alphanumeric numbers and letters, uppercase, lowercase, anything from 1 number, 1 letter, up to 8. If no more than 8. And then when you're done, go ahead and hit apply. And the FTP settings. If you have FTP cloud storage, not all services have that, like Dropbox and others. They don't necessarily offer pure FTP. But if you have FTP, you'll type the server in here, your port, your FTP server name, so that'll be user @ and then your server name, password for logging in, whether you want to make a directory or if you want to overwrite a directory, and then you can change the directory here. You might put living room or garage or whatever for the camera that you want it to go up to, and then you can hit test and it'll come back and tell you if you're connected. I'm not connected to FTP service, so we're not going to go ahead and demonstrate that. And that's it for the network settings of the parameters. Come back and we're going to go through the event settings next.